Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're having an amazing day, because if you're having an amazing day, I'm having an amazing day. And if I'm having an amazing day, you too should be having an amazing day. Okay, hi everyone. Hi. Right, a couple of months ago, I was on this Alright Fellas channel. I lurk around these channels just for comedic purposes, I need something to brighten up my day every now and then. And this guy was going, I think the video was entitled, Feminism is a shit test and men in the West are failing. And yeah, the title of the video sort of foreshadows what you can expect in the video. I don't even need to tell you what he says in the video for you to know what he's gonna say, right? Yeah, so basically, anyway, he goes basically that, men in the West are too weak, they're too pussified, and they're basically letting women step all over them. I think by the West he also means like westernized Asian countries like Taiwan or Hong Kong. He's basically talking about how modern men, especially modern Western men, are too pussified. And he uses what even more bizarre is that even though this guy despises Muslims, despises Middle Easterners, despises South Asians for that matter, he basically uses the Pakistani rape gangs, and he uses the Islamic migrants, the migrants from backwater Islamic countries. You know what term he uses to describe them? The alpha males, Yeah, basically it goes like, Western feminists, don't criticize these men who come over to our shores and rape women and do all sorts of nasty things, because they are the alpha males, that don't allow women to step all over them. Yeah, so it's sort of like a backhanded compliment towards these men. So oftentimes, you find that the right wing, the far right of the Anglo-West, has got a very, very ambivalent relationship with the East. Now, on one hand, they view the Orient as this mysterious, savage, and dangerous place, full of dangerous men, seductive women, and basically juxtaposed with the civilized West, right? And they love to virtue signal about how, women in the West have it so good compared to the Orient, to the East, or compared to Africa, compared to the Middle East, because and how ungrateful these feminazis are, Western societies treat their women the best, they got so many rights, But secretly, in their heart of hearts, the alt-right and the far-right, at least the men, I suspect, actually envy what their enemies have, right? They look at authoritarian regimes, right? And although on the surface, they pay, they pay lip service to the notions of freedom and democracy and blah, 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 all that stuff they have in the West. But at the same time, they secretly envy what their enemies have. They envy the power and authority that their enemies have. Like, I recall Tucker Carlson going on about how, China has it right by executing drug traffickers. And the reason China has such hard penalties for drug traffickers is because of the Opium War that brought the Qing dynasty to its knees, right? So China has had a very, very, has had a very hardline approach towards drugs ever since then. Yeah, right? Because those, ever since those Anglo drug pushers came in and brought the dynasty to its knees. But the thing is, okay, let's read what Jordan Peterson, Lobster Man, has to say about feminists and Islamic men. To feminists of avoid criticizing Islam because they unconsciously long for masculine dominance. I love it when they just when they reveal their true proclivities. When people in the alt-right, despite the fact that on the surface they may appear to hate Muslims, they hate they hate people from these what they term backward savage societies. What they seriously long for is the kind of power and authority that their enemies have, right? Now, they constantly virtue signal about how the West has so much freedom, how much the West has so much liberty and gender equality. But trust me, they're doing it grudgingly, right? Like, they don't actually, they don't actually, in fact, I think they actually resent their enemies for having what they wish they could have, right? Like, in their heart of hearts, they're probably thinking like, oh man, I hate those dirty shit-skinned Arab Muslims, but I love the way they handle females. Yeah, so the thing is, the alt-right, the far right, they love to virtue signal about how superior Western civilization is. But at the same time, due to the fact that apparently it has the most gender equality, that's a contestable statement as well. It has the most gender equality, the most freedom for minorities, that treats the gays and the transgendered people the best, at least not in the 50s. But the thing is, the alt-right, the far right never had a part. Even if hypothetically speaking, the West is the most gender egalitarian, gay-friendly place on earth, the alt-right and the far right really had nothing to do with it. That was all due to the efforts of progressives, right? If the alt-right and the far right had their way, well, then the West would be more like The Handmaid's Tale, right? Or Man in the High Castle. That's what the West would be like if they had their way, right? So no, although they may virtue signal about how much better they are than their enemies in the Islamic world or in the, in authoritarian places, in their heart of hearts, the far right are really no better than their enemies in terms of, in principle at least, right? Because I'm willing to bet that if they actually had the power, to regress society and strip away women's rights to, to abortions and enforce monogamy and basically regulate the sexual marketplace to make sure that every Elliot Roger gets a partner, they do it. I'm sure they do it. They have said just as much that they would do it, right? So yeah, this is just a quickie because I'm just waiting for my phone to charge. So before I head off hiking. So yeah, thanks everyone. And you know what? I think that you guys in the far right, the West, if you can just overcome your superficial cultural differences, overcome your prejudices against brown-skinned people, I think you could be good friends with people like Zakir Naik. You guys have so much in common.